What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for a bit more league racing action here on F1 2017. This is, of course, TOR Pacific. We're here for round number 12 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. We do seem to visit Japan a lot in the recent past in league races, I do admit. But if you're wondering where the championship standings are, fortunately there isn't any because they weren't done when this video is pretty much done. As you can see, my teammates actually retired from this race. There is a good reason for that. I will point that out a little bit later on. But here we go on for the qualifying run under nice, perfect skies here in Suzuka. Taking probably a nice, had an actually nice run there through a turn 1 and 2. I probably took it a little bit cautious, if I'm honest, compared to what happened in SRL. Let's see now. It just, I think that was rain possibly. They had a little bit of a moment. I'm not sure. He probably confirmed that maybe himself. But nice run there through the Degners. Much better run actually compared to any of the other times I've been here in Japan. But to come through the spoon curve, unfortunately, I cut the corner there and get my lap time invalidated. So, and unfortunately, I didn't have. I don't think I had quite enough fuel to get the job done. To possibly have 2 runs. You can see now Warden goes fastest for the time being. So, pretty much I decided to box it into that lap and just pretty much. I think we're going to pretty much do the exact same thing that happened in SRL, which I probably didn't mind. I probably didn't have a great deal of practice, I'll admit, but going into this one. But like I said, I will mention why Michi retired. There is the possibility of some rain later on. Not later on, in the race itself. Not fully wet, but enough to be a nuisance. So anyway, I've had to leave now for the second run here. I decided to let both there was a few cars coming down the front straight. It was actually both the Force India boys, so I let Master Berserk and Warden go through there. Just after that, there was pretty much some free space there. But coming on to nearly start my fastest lap here. Actually, Warden decides to let me go here. I was actually a bit surprised because I wasn't actually on the hot lap at this point in time, even though I was readying myself up for this one to be my hot lap here. So just trying to get a nice run here out of the final chicane. So pretty much I'm doing what I did back in SRL, just going for the one flyer because there's about a bit under 4.5 minutes left to go. Dominator currently a provisional pole for the time being, but here we go, flat out through turn 1. Again, probably taking it a bit cautious because I did not want to screw up my lap big time here, but now through the S section here, trying to get a nice run here, all over those curbs, getting nice and tight through here. Now, probably wasn't an ideal corner there. Now through the Dunlop curve there, and actually Dominator had some connection issues, I believe, so that's why he's left the session. So not ideal for the man who's currently on provisional pole. It's a little lock up there through the second Degner there under the bridge. Now going to size up the hairpin now. Get it nice and stopped here, which the car felt pretty good, I'll admit. Goes around that corner, trying to avoid much wheel spin, but just lost the rear end a little bit coming out of that corner. Now the spoon curve, I was trying to avoid the curve that caught me out on the first go, which I did avoid it big time, as you can see now Dominator's actually rejoined. Just missed the apex a little bit coming out of that exit of the spoon curve. Now coming down this long bank straight, sizing up 130R, which you can pretty much take flat attack through in the drive. Nice and straight on the curb there. Now going to get it right here through the curb, nice and tight. Felt okay through this curve section here. Then you take the shortest run you can to the line. We weren't too far off the timing, but we go a 120, what was it? I think we're about, you'd probably be able to see, it's 128.8, I think it was, or something or other. We were about 7/10 off Dominator's provisional pole time, but I actually ran out of fuel coming back into the pit lane, so I was just basically getting out of everybody's road here, and I found a new pit lane entry here. They probably should make this a pit lane entry for some sort of racing. I'm not sure what exactly, but there you go. There's a bit of a new pit lane there. But New Owen's having a big moment through the 2 Degners, and he's out of qualifying, actually. But surprisingly, this wasn't the first time he did this. So this is attempt number 1. A little bit of a slide there, and you can see lost his front wing. Not too bad. Now, this is attempt number 2, a bit later on. He was pretty much trying to take this corner flat attack here, and well, again, not too bad. He actually made Degner 2 this time, but As you'll be able to see now, coming at attempt number 3. This is where it went all pear-shaped. Actually corner cut, and that's pretty much his qualifying done. But you can see we'll have a look on board with Dominator here. He was pretty much the only guy left that could possibly steal pole, because it's now on Master Berserk. But he locks up coming through the final chicane and pretty much ruins his final run here. Probably would have gotten him pole, I'm not really too sure. But in the end, Master Berserk got pole, nearly 4/10 quicker than Dominator himself. So you got New Zealand Ryan and Fens in 3rd and 4th. Big shout out to Brock. He did a ripper job in P5. Warden in P7, Rain in 6th, myself in P8. ECR Ricardo, if you're wondering, that's RBR. It was Arwen's Timmy and my teammate who's starting last for this race, like I said, for a good reason. So get to the race, and wouldn't you know it, of course, it's bloody wet again. I don't know what it is with these Codemasters games. It might be a good send-out or something for F1 2017 before 2018 comes out, but pretty much it's going to be wet throughout this entire race, which did not bode well for me, because I pretty much have no wet weather experience whatsoever, and I'm pretty crap, if I'm honest, during the wet weather. If you've seen plenty of my other videos, you'll understand why. So, yeah, obviously, go through the formation lap now. A few disqualifications. I think ECR Ricardo was the first one. I was a little bit worried there, having a bit of a moment going through Brock's AI car, but I think a little touch there with Warden as well, but you'll be able to see now both these guys actually get disqualified, so there's no worries at all there from me. I didn't feel like there was much in it, but coming through the hairpin now, obviously have a big lock up, and then I get drilled there a little bit, I think, from Owen, so I think he got drilled from, I think, Timmy, so that's put us out of the formation lap. Not that I really wanted to do it anyway, but have a look at this next shot, because you see Timmy and Mitchie. I honestly don't know what the hell this was going on. I think it was the same for Owens on his screen, so, and they actually rectified itself. So here we go for round number 12 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Let's do it around Suzuka, and it's a very ginger start here, I must admit, because I did not want to get a lot of wheel spin there, but fortunately I did get a little bit as he come into turn 1 here. Look up the inside here of Warden. Put under a bit of pressure there from ECR Ricardo there, but surprisingly everybody got through cleanly. Yes, I understand it's probably because we had a few less drivers this time around. We only had 12, I think, this round, but you can see ran wide coming through. I think that was turn 4, and I lost all the positions there, and I'm back now to P11. Owens, you'll be able to see in front there, is actually on the wet tyres. He was actually able to choose, I think, I might be wrong there, but he decided to go onto the wet tyres here. But you see, he has a massive moment coming through turn 12 there, and he's lost all momentum. I think that's put him now back to dead last. So, I mean, it was a good try nonetheless, but I think it was just mainly that moment there. Nothing to do with the tyres at all. He actually felt pretty comfortable, he said, but you just see sliding through there, and another through the spoon curve, and just taking it cautiously through 130R. Like if you saw in the SRL video, I took it a lot cautiously because I didn't know what it would like if we took it flat out through that whole corner there. But anyway, it was still in P10. Survived the first lap. Somehow I survived the first lap, but now lap 2 here is trying to get on the power as much as I can. There's a bit of a moment there. I think that's Timmy. He's maybe hit the wall. There was a lot of debris. Went up his inside, but I just broke probably a little bit too late, and I run wide coming through the 2 Degners. Somehow managed to hold on to my position ahead of Timmy, but you can see now the next group of cars have well and truly pulled away. I think Timmy had a look up the inside here. I'll lock up big time here at the hairpin, but Mitchie got the look up the inside as well at the hairpin. But we pretty much stayed as is. Just a little bit sideways there. It's not difficult. Get on the power, like I said, and next group of the cars are pretty much pulled away here. But now coming through the final chicane. A big lock up here, and I had no choice but to shortcut this chicane. Actually got the 5-second stop-go penalty, which I thought was a little bit harsh. Maybe if I slowed down a little bit more, I probably could have avoided it. But pretty much I had no choice there but to shortcut the chicane there. They're now through lap 3, again running wide, the exact same spot that happened on lap 1. So you just tell I'm just not comfortable at all. You probably see a lot of it during this race, but coming through the Degners, got my first cut there. And also with my wheel, for some unknown reason during these wet weather conditions, there's not a lot of force feedback during this. A big lock-up going through the hairpin there. That's run me wide there, and I've put it back into neutral for some unknown reason. I don't know why. I think I was just trying everything I could to stop it, but it didn't really work. So I dropped behind my teammate, who's now up into P9. So he's made some spots earlier on here during this race. If you're wondering who that dot is a bit further back, it's probably coming into the hairpin now. That is actually Owens. He's still struggling a little bit. I think he had a few spins as well. But you can just see us three are pretty much lost out to the big group up the front there, and I think possibly the same can be said for ECR Ricardo. And a little bit of a look there on Mitchie, but decided to stick behind him here for the time being. Master Berserk sets the fastest lap then. Warden does, so the Force India boys look on it. I think Berserk still leads the way for the time being, but they just get caught up a little bit on the curb there coming out of the final corner. So we got through at least 3 laps. Now lap 4. Timmy runs a little bit wide coming through turn 1. So that's lost him all the momentum. And yeah, that's still back in P11, but lost a lot of time there. Mitchie's still struggling his way through this whole race. I will point out there's not a lot of point of views, but he's a replay for this race. So he's a replay on board with Owens from the start. You just see just taking it nice and cautiously through here. That's his teammate up there, ECR Ricardo. There's a little bit of a tap between those two. Let's put Owens off big time there. Lost a spot to Timmy, of course, and pretty much settled into P11. You'll be able to see there's yours truly off the road up there. And he goes right around the outside, somehow managed to squeeze his way through. And that's put him up into the points. And I think the next shot will be the moment he had coming through here. And I'm not sure what it was, just trying to get on the power too much or that curve, because a bit hard to say, 6 to 1, half a dozen the other, really. And he actually said he was probably going to pit this lap. Probably was the case. I mean, it was worth the gamble, don't get me wrong, but I think he's probably on the wrong set of tyres anyway, so he get to come in for the intermediate tyres at the end of lap 3 or something. But to look at this moment coming out of the final chicane, the final corner there, that was a big moment. I will admit, I did catch the car a lot during this whole race, but again, running wide through the Degners, again, somehow managing to stay on the track. It was just so hard. You could just tell it's just so hard to get onto the power for the wet conditions. I probably will have to fix this up for F1 2018 when it does come out, but especially my wet weather pace. There's Mitchie is a little bit of sideways. Look at the amount of work I'm doing on my wheel. Mitchie's off the road. I somehow survive. A little contact there with Timmy and Mitchie. That I somehow get a spot off that and get up into P9. I'm actually surprised I didn't actually fit it in the wall for some reason, but that is the way it is. Probably just good car control there. And now coming out of the final, this is actually the spoon curve. Probably took too much curve, running a little bit too wide there. Fence sets fastest lap here. It's just taking it cautiously there, running a bit wide. Actually copped a 5-second stop-go penalty, which I again thought was harsh, but probably deserved that one. A 10-second time penalty for the corner cut. So I'm racking up the penalties again. Pretty much like, what was it, a couple of rounds ago at Monza. That's how you can see now, Timmy's all over the back, but I get on the power too much, and I've lost part of my front wing now. Oh dear. I mean, what can I say, really? They're just trying to get on the power, quickly trying to get back to the pits. Nice bit of drifting work, a la Shane Van Gisbergen style, I would say. Maybe some other people will disagree, but without that front wing, it doesn't really help going through the Degners. And Owens, of course, got P11, so that's put me dead last, really. So pretty much just trying to get the quickest I can back to the pits, but yeah, it's not really working when I'm running off the road big time here. Actually copped a warning there. I think that's actually my second warning there. I didn't actually put that down in my notes, but I do remember that now. But anyway, come into the lane now. Just managed to just get it down. Actually nearly clipped the wall there. Nearly like what Owens did back in SRL, where pretty much ended his race. So, of course, had to serve one of the 5-second stop-go penalties. So, just didn't worry me at all. But now to see the leaders are just coming around the spoon curve. So, probably just going to get out ahead of him just, I think. So anyway, away we go. New front wing and inters. I think I was pretty much planning on taking these tyres to the end, even though there's 19 odd laps to go. There's a replay here with Owen's little slide there through 130R. He actually got the same thing I got, probably a little bit wider there for him, but look at that might explain the spin, and he's lost his front wing. Actually lost DRS as well, which probably doesn't really matter in these conditions, but that would explain why he's come out in front of me there, still in P11. So you see we're trying to have a little bit of a battle here, but I lost it all big time there, momentum, and now of course Warden set the fastest lap. I think it was like a 1:43, and my fastest lap I'm nowhere near him. Just look at the amount of oversteer I'm getting from this car coming out of the Dunlop curve. I think you'll see over the next couple of laps, I think it is. Here we go, lap 10. It's just so hard, just trying to get on the power, getting a little bit sideways there. The very nice drift moments there. Obviously just surprised at the amount of control I had of the car. It's lap 11, again, they ran a little bit wide, come through the Degners. I'm just trying my absolute best to push on. You can probably tell I think I dropped the downforce a little bit back to 1. Maybe that might have been a little bit of a mistake, because there you go, running wide at the spoon curve, and there's a 3-second time penalty, so that's cut number 3. So, like I said, probably it was a mistake. I was trying to attempt to take 130R flat. Tep 1 wasn't too bad, ran a little bit wide. Somehow didn't spin the car, but survived that one anyway. But lap 12 again, just getting a nice drifting work here. Wasn't too bad compared to the last few laps anyway, especially I think at lap 9 and 10. But I've just lost so much time to Owens, and pretty much nearly back to the lead pack, which is nearly catching me big time. So the cut number 4 there. But of course, those guys have yet to stop. I will point that out. They haven't stopped yet, I don't believe. So here's attempt number 2 of going through 130R flat. That was a little bit of a hairy moment, I'll admit. But somehow managed to get away with that. That's cut number 5, I think, for this race. So pretty much I was just having maybe a little bit of fun, maybe. So and a little bit of sideways moment there for Owens as well. You can see now lap 13, the fans have started to catch me here big time, and it kept getting a lot of blue flags, so I didn't want to cop another penalty, so I decided to let him go. But he has not stopped, like I said, so I think, I can't remember who the next guy is who hasn't stopped. I wonder if anybody else has stopped yet, actually. But here's attempt number 3 through 130R. That wasn't too bad, actually, I will admit. I was expecting a lot worse there, but just continuing on here. Still hoping to push for the 1 stop anyway. Here's a replay on board. This is on board with Timmy, chasing down my teammate. These guys are pretty much having a ding-dong battle for the rest of this race, because these two are pretty much on their own. Nice move up the inside here between the 2 Degners there for Timmy. Mitchie may have run a little bit wide there coming out of the Degners there, but Mitchie going to have a look up here at the inside. No, just holds back. That's put Timmy back up into P9. Back to us, we're still pushing on here. A little bit of oversteer there, but he's coming out of the bridge. It's probably put the power on a bit too much there again. This was pretty much just the norm for the rest of the race, I'll admit. So it's pretty much going to be my drifts and saves, especially his attempt 4 of 130R. Actually, a couple of 3-second time penalty, obviously, because of cut number 6. So I mean, it probably was difficult anyway to take it flat through 130R, but and running wide, that's cut number 7. Again, the downforce probably wasn't right. I did put it back down to 1. I don't know why, but this was probably the biggest moment of them all. How I didn't retire after that, I have no idea. They're copping more penalties, so it's either going to be I'm going to crash out big time here, or I'm going to get disqualified because of penalties, because I'm pretty much on my own here. and the leaders are not too far behind. You can see Master Berserk sets a 42 flat, I think, from memory. So anyway, lap 16. Just taking it cautiously here as best I can through the S section here, but getting a little bit of oversteer through here. Just trying to hang on here. Probably should not have accelerated, and that's pretty much my race done. So it's just been a terrible race all around, and to be honest, it's been a shocking last couple of rounds, especially after what happened in Singapore, and especially here. It's just not been my best, probably because nearing the end of the league racing season. On F1 2017 before 2018 comes out, but Owens had a much bigger moment through 130R. Didn't really work out, and he's out of the race as well. So pretty much all the top 10 now is going to score points. Now, this is lap 22, I believe. There's a battle here between Fens and Warden for position 4. I think Warden is going right around the outside here, and I think Fens will let him go here. Yes, he does. Might have a look up the inside. They're banging. Fens is banging the front wing up Warden's gearbox there, but Warden gets the spot there, so probably got a little bit more pace compared to Fens, but this battle for the race lead is on here because it's on with New Zealand Ryan and Master Berserk. There is some possibility as well that it'd be a long shot really, but if Ryan gets a good result here, and maybe I think the next best in the championship is probably Fens, that he could wrap up the championship in the next couple of rounds. So you can see just how amount of pressure that Ryan and Master is putting. Ryan is putting. Let me start it again. The pressure that Ryan is putting Master Berserk under it's enormous, really, and you can see getting a lot sideways here. You can see Berserk probably hasn't had the best times of it in TOR. Got close, I think, to a race win in AOR, but just been showing good results here. Probably at some tracks he's not been brilliant, but I think amount of control here. Nice run here from New Zealand Ryan compared to Berserk. Now coming through to 2 Degners. Looks a lot more closer now. This I was actually calling, well, I wasn't actually calling it, but I was watching it obviously in the spectator camera with in the party chat, pretty much commentating on it. But you see Berserk actually runs a little bit wide coming out of the hairpin there. There's an opportunity for Ryan, but no, he's wasted it, and now it's given back the momentum to Master Berserk. He starts to pull away a little bit more now. Now lap 25, Warden looking up the inside, late on Dominator. This is effectively for the podium. So he's trying to get a good run out of here, getting a little bit sideways there. Could have had dramatic circumstances if he hit that pit lane entry there. It's a Dominator pretty much covering off the line going into turn 1. He's not quite close enough in the end. Pretty much going to have to hold on for now, but you want to keep away from Fens as well because he's not too far behind either. Pretty much Rain and Brock and ECR Ricardo are on their own here, and Mitchie just letting the leaders go through there, as you can see. Just thought better of it, didn't want to put him much of a fight after the battle we had with Timmy, but he's a replay with Brock does stuff. Another one struggling through 130R. Somehow got it stopped and managed to actually continue on through the chicane. Like I said, he's pretty much on his own for 7th, but again, this battle still going between Warden and Dominator. I think this is for now on the last lap. No, yeah, maybe the last lap, I can't remember, but yeah, yes it is. We've got Warden's point of view as well on the top right, so you'll be able to see from his cockpit cam. I don't think he usually races in cockpit cam a lot, but this is the rarity of times especially. So these tyres, I think, are starting to wear out a little bit more. Berserk's doing a ripper job holding off New Zealand Ryan for this race win. It's still going on here. Warden's not quite close enough there to Dominator, but I was more focusing on this battle up front here. I think Owens was actually more focused on the battle behind, which I did change to, because Fens has got a good run here. Up around the outside here at the hairpin. Can he stop it? It'll be close, but still going side by side. That might allow Dominator to pull away here while these two fight it out for 4th and 5th. Fens got into 4th place now. Now coming through the spoon curve, here's a little bit of contact here, and that's pushed Fens wide, and actually pushed Warden wide as well. Fens off into the infield and Warden off to the outside of the spoon curve. And I think Fens may have got an illegal overtake because of that and had to let Warden go through, which pretty much ended that battle. But here comes Master Berserk to take the win here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Held off a fearless New Zealand Ryan. Tried everything, but just didn't quite have enough. But his Brock does stuff, like I said, pretty much on his own here. I think him Rain, ECR Ricardo, and so Timmy and Mitchie, they're pretty much all on their own there. So, but he comes across the line and gets position 7. So, been a good result for Brock after a few terrible rounds. But there you go. That's the podium. Now, I will actually point out as well that even though what you see is what I saw, it's not the case. Apparently, Berserk copped a penalty. You'll be able to see on the next screen, I think. He actually copped, I think, a stop-go penalty or something. But on his screen, it actually showed New Zealand Ryan was the winner of the race. And maybe a few others may have had that as well. Not really too sure. But because of that, and Fens finishing up in P5, because he'd been the two nearest rivals, that gave New Zealand Ryan afterwards, we found that out on the TOR Twitter page, that it actually gave New Zealand Ryan, well, of course, the win, but also the championship in TOR. So many, many congratulations to New Zealand Ryan. He's been the dominant force pretty much in any league you see. I raced with him in. He's been dominant in SRL, TOR, and AOR. So he's pretty much nearly dominated, won all the championships, like 5 out of 6 the last few championships especially. I think it is anyway. So only one he didn't win was when I joined the first season of TOR. So pretty great effort all around. But yeah, that was pretty much a dull race for myself. So hopefully to turn that around at Mexico. But if you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more league racing content on F1 2017. We're getting to the nitty-gritty of the season, getting closer to the end of this game as well. Subscribe to that, and also plenty more league video gaming content as well, because all my social media links are down in the description. But for the moment, guys and girls, until the Mexican Grand Prix, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.